Project
And
2033 is a 10-year commitment
everybody.
to some of the
Welcome
best
back.
cryptocurrency
Crypto
education
After
across
Dark,
the entire
Keith,
internet,
regular
all in
Keith,
one
just
spot for
Keith,
you to make it
whatever.
easy to get to,
Glad to see
look
ya.
through,
Hope
figure
you had
out
an
what it
awesome
is
week.
that you want to learn
There's a
about,
little
whether
up and
that
down in the
be
crypto market
technical
world, wasn't
analysis
it?
from
We
me,
kind of expected
whether it's
this.
how
We talked about
Bitcoin
this a little
works,
bit.
basics of cryptocurrencies,
we kind
the
of thought this
glossary
might
of
happen.
terms. Perhaps you
Hang
want
on.
to know how to use Coinbase.
There we go. Sorry. Had a commercial I made. That'll be up in a minute. Good to see everybody. Glad you guys had a awesome week. So it's been a little up and down, hasn't it? But again, like I said, we kind of expected that. I kind of thought that may happen. All part of the game. Is what it is. No worries though. One step at a time. We're going to go over that plus Ethereum plus XRP plus some other stuff. We'll get to that at the end. I'm glad to see you all here. Real quick, I got settings changed over here. Hang on. And there we go. Welcome to Crypto After Dark. If you have not done so, please go hit the like button. It costs $0 to hit like. It's free. And the more likes we get, well, the more people see this when we go all around the world. All right. We want as many people to see this as possible. And while you're there, hit the notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss out. Because I don't want you to miss out. All right. So I don't want to waste too much time. I want to dive into what we've got for Bitcoin here. It's an interesting setup. But again, we kind of expected it. I've got on the screen at the moment Bitcoin CME. What is Bitcoin CME? Well, Bitcoin CME is Chicago Mercantile Exchange. What does that mean? Well, it's the only one of two cryptos that are actively traded on the CME market. What does that mean? Well, it's kind of what the pros use. I don't want to say pros as in pro TA guys or pro chart guys, just the big dogs. How about that? That's the best way to think about it. This is the chart they look at all the time. It closes on the weekends. We've talked about that. And it's a little different than the regular Bitcoin chart because of that. Not much, but a little. All right, so this is the weekly view first. As you see, we are still playing around with our previous all-time high that we made all the way back at the end of the bull market in 2021. Remember that? I remember that. It was fun, wasn't it? We actually sold a lot of everything right about here after the top came in. We said, all right, that's enough. We've had enough fun. It's time to move on. It was a good time, wasn't it? It was a great time. We had some awesome times after. And then a lot of us, not all of us, got to sit in stable coins and hang out while the market destroyed itself for a solid year. Now, we were prepared for that. Well, here we are again, playing around with all-time high again. Still can't quite get over the hump. And because of that, this lends me to believe we're going to get a bit of a pullback. All right. I don't think it'll be as much as people think, though. And the reason I chose to show you CME chart first was it actually made a CME gap at the end of the week last week. Here's the look for you there. So here's the daily chart. I was on weekly and I've gone down to daily so we can see some more candles all balled up here. It doesn't look like a CME gap at first, but what you'll note is if you look a little closer here, you'll see that Friday closed here and Monday opened here. There was a gap. And not only did it close, actually it did not close up here. It closed way down here low at the bottom. So you had from there to there, very large gap formed. And it's easier to see if you drop down to a lower time frames. I'm not asking you to go down to a lower time frame because I think that's a mistake for most people. You don't really need to do that. But here we are on the low time frames and you see the massive gap the chart made right here on a CME. Now, the good news is, in time, she slowly worked her way back down here. Didn't quite close the gap all the way, but it closed a large portion of it. There are still some active CME gaps all through the charts, right? They're not always going to close, but they do close a lot of times. And this one happens to go down to about 64,000 and some change. Notable here that while Bitcoin pulled back, alts really got a punch in the face. This is what we kind of tried to warn everyone of, right? We kind of tried to tell you that if Bitcoin has a big pullback, you're going to see the king kind of pull all the peasants with it. That's kind of what happened, all right? So we'll go over some of that in a minute. But first, I wanted to talk about Bitcoin a little bit more. You'll note that on a daily chart, we are directly under all-time high level, kind of playing around with it back and forth. More so than that, we're kind of building a bull flag here too. Price is just kind of idling, thinking about it and thinking about it. So in my opinion, it's going to continue to do this and continue to think about it until after halving. When is halving? Good question. Bitcoin halving is on either the 18th or the 19th. It's still up for debate. As we get closer, we'll be able to see it a little bit better. But there's your halving line for Bitcoin. We are getting there nonetheless. I have a watch party set up for Discord already. If you're not in our Discord, come check it out. Why aren't you there? It's nothing to it. It's actually free. It's down below in the link in the description of the video. You don't have to pay anything to be in the general chat. If you want to be a member, that link's also down there. All right. So that's set up for when we actually have halving. That ain't here yet. We're still a couple weeks away. We're getting close though. All right. So I want everyone to prepare for that. Be ready. When the time comes, we'll be ready. I like the bull flag that's forming. However, it's showing weakness to me, but it's not a terrible thing. Because on top of Sniper's Alley that we've talked about a lot, right here's Sniper's Alley top. That's the 886 line that you saw on a weekly earlier. I'll scroll back out so you can see it here. There you go. There's 886 and 786. These two red boxes are Sniper's Alley. Sniper's Alley is a very important level. It's a heavy resistance and a heavy support level. And as you see above it, well, that's good. That's support. That's what we want to see, all right? What we don't want to have is slip under this, fall under that, fall under the resistance. We're likely to go down more. So far, hasn't happened, all right? Now, that 886 level is right around 58, 59,000. Call it 60, all right? Now, if I put this in linear mode, things get interesting. It's actually 63,000, not 60,000 on the 886 level on linear mode. So between 63 and 60, or 63 to 58, 59, that's our level that I'm looking for to be done. I don't know that we get a whole bunch more down after that. Obviously, I'm watching it closely, and this comparison to 2016 that I have here kind of spells that out. Now, I'll say this. I didn't expect the rally today to be as big as it was, right? I think at one point it was up 4.5%. I did expect a rally. I just didn't expect it to be this large. I knew that the chart was showing that it kind of wanted to hang out right here at the 65,400 level. We had watched this pretty carefully, and we'd already talked about this on our Monday weekly roundup that we do every Monday morning at 8:30 a.m. That's also in the Discord. If you guys aren't coming to hang out and watch it, you're missing out. You should come hang out and see it. But nonetheless, we talked about how it was likely that this thing held this level that it's hit before. And so far, it's doing that. I even drew this little green line here as kind of a layover of what I think is going to happen step by step. Because if you look over here in 2016, that we are following closely. It's not perfect, but it's close. We're following it closely. We had another hump after our top. You kind of see that. It kind of just retraced back up and failed. This one went to 786 right here on a short span. And then it rolled back over. It rolled back over. It went back to support. Not the end of the world, okay? Back to support is okay. It's cool. Thing is, I'd like to see it make a higher high. And it didn't do that so far. She's still making a lower high here. It hasn't quite broken out and got above the levels that it needs to get above to really prove anything hardcore, okay? So far, she's dancing with the devil, all right? This thing needs to make a higher high to prove something to me, and it hasn't done it so far. So far, just a bull flag that all kind of points over here somewhere, all right? Over here toward after halving. There will be another FOMC meeting after halving right here. I have that labeled in yellow. That's on the 1st of May, I think, or roughly 1st of May. When you'll see that Jerome gets up there and runs his mouth and ruins everything for everybody, all right? So it's likely to happen. And that bull market, that bull flag kind of points over there to that. Now, you'll see in 2016, we had this very, very aggressive move down post-halving. Right here's halving. Post-halving, it went straight through the 100 moving average, and it went all the way down to the 200. That's tough for me to think that's going to happen for Bitcoin. 200 moving average is all the way down here at almost 50,000 right now, where 618 just so happens to be. The golden pocket just so happens to be down here, and we know Bitcoin likes to go to that golden pocket, right? We've seen it before. Expect it, right? But first, we need to hit this 50 moving average and break it, and we have done neither yet. So when we do hit this 50 moving average, right over here where I've got it drawn, I do kind of expect it to bounce right there, all right? And when it bounces, We'll see how far it goes, whether it holds or whether it rolls under and fails. And if it fails, well, the next logical level for it to go to would be back to this 100 moving average, which you see the dotted blue lines right there. That's the 100 moving average extension. It's just showing it where it likely is going to end up. I can put the real ones up there, but it kind of shows you the same thing. I can't be perfect on where these are going to go. There you go. You see the kind of extensions just kind of show where the line's pointing to. It's a matter of time, I think. The good news is it's not bad. That's just going back to that 60,000 level again and bouncing on support. I'm okay with that. I don't know that we get a whole bunch more down. And even if we do get a big move down like this, look, it only lasted a few days back in 2016. Do you really think it's going to last a dramatically large, longer time now with 10 times the money, literally 10 times the money in? Bitcoin was $600 over here. It's now 60,000. All right, do the math. I don't really think we're going to lose that much that fast. I guess it's possible, but I don't think that happens. All right. In fact, every bit of down here, as far as I'm concerned, is buying opportunities. When we're going into a halving, we understand what halving does. That's a supply and demand shock. That supply and demand shock hits, and when that happens, the market tends to shift. All right, so I'm expecting it. I'm prepared for it. You should be prepared for it. All right, cool. If you haven't done so, please go hit like. There are 41 people on, 18 people have hit like. The more people hit like, the more people who see it. More people who see it, the more people get the message, all right? So please go hit like. It's free. It costs nothing to hit like. And subscribe while you're there. We're over 10,000. We're still getting it. Let's say hey to everybody real quick. And there's only a few of you guys on here, so we'll just say hi to a few of you, all right? Opalara, good to see you, brother. Dreamer, what's up? JP, what's up, brother? And Miss Ariana, how are you? Miss Allison, how are you? Bullish CEO, good to see you, brother. Big Fish, what's up? What's up, Jeremy, cousin? Cheese, how you doing, brother? Canon Pro, meh. We don't want that. Too many can see it. Need extra liquidity. Fair enough, right? So one day at a time. Andrew Adnoski, what's up, brother? Doing some charting. Might help you right now. Yeah, I'm going to keep that up there because when people try to troll me with their gambling, well, I'm not cool with that. So, you know, I haven't said anything back to the person, but I think they're going to get the hint one day when they watch a stream, because if I know that person, I know that person has a hard time keeping their mouth shut. It's only a matter of time before they see it and say something back. JP says, what's up? Good to see you. Distinctive Shine, how you doing? Carmine, what's up? Good to see you. Cycling Cotton, Eclipse is coming. Watch BTC crash hard. We'll see. O'Leary, what's up? Good to see you. What's up, Lunatic Prophet? Kevin Luce Jr. snuck in for a shout out. Good to see you. Miss Kelly Slate, how are you? Good to see you, ma'am. All right. Now, let's go dabbling through some other charts here. How about Ethereum CME chart? Aha. Now you're seeing how we got our name. Ethereum is stuck clean in the 786, 886 snipers alley. If you don't understand what that is, folks, boom, that's a headshot. Okay? That is a standard 786 headshot. How does that sound? And if you don't really understand what that means, well, quite simply, if you're playing a video game, let's say it's a first-person shooter, and you run out into Sniper's Alley without thinking about it, what usually happens? You tend to get picked off. All right? So we call that a headshot. And here you go. We've run into Sniper's Alley, and she got spun around the other way. So what happens from here? Well, a lot like Bitcoin, Ethereum is building a similar style bull flag. All right? You clearly have a trend line here that it's holding downward from. It hasn't broken. It's potentially got a flag right there. I'm not quite sure yet, but I can guarantee you we have a line back here that is definitely an uptrend line. So as long as Ethereum maintains this upward green line right here, I guess I'm okay with it. I guess I'm cool with it and I don't really care. Does that mean it can fail it? Yes, it can. Would I change my mind on some stuff? Potentially, but we're not there yet. Right? So far, she's making the bull flag underneath Sniper's Alley, and it looks like she wants to come back some more. If I put up moving averages, you see we're underneath the 821 EMA. This is a scale out signal. All right, this is telling you right now that the risk is higher than the reward. So you should probably think about rolling back some. Now, I just told you all that I'm not doing that. I just told you all that every time I see some down here, I'm buying it back up. All right, I'm trying my best to buy as much as I can. I was waiting on a little bit of red today because I sold some yesterday. I think I took profits on GTO. And when I took profits, I said, hey, I'm going to put this somewhere, but I'm going to wait a couple days. We'll give it a couple days here and see what happens. And the market went up, but it ran right into resistance. And as long as it's running into resistance, which is kind of the moving averages here, no worries. I've already planned on buying Ethereum with that money, so I'm just waiting for the right time to buy. I think we may end up getting a bunch of trend line touches down here, so we'll see. All right. I don't want to count my chickens too early because it may take a bit. And honestly, I think stuff kind of will chop sideways a little bit here. We'll see. Now, look, we're getting closer to that 50-day moving average, that yellow line. Do you see that? Essentially, that's telling us that when we hit that 50-day moving average, are we going to blow through that? Or are we just going to bounce on it and move back up and make more of a bull flag? We'll see. Typically, when you're in a bullish time, the 50-day moving average acts as support. And as you see back here, it did that, acted as support back there. Once it got over, it took off, and it's only really touched back one time. For me, firstly, I do think we'll get some kind of bounce here. How big? Well, that's a good question. We need to make a higher high. When we do hit this 50-day moving average, we need to bounce back, and we need to get above this level up here at about, call it 3,600. All right. We need to get above 3,600 to make a new high. If we can get above 3,600 and make a new high, something like this, make a move and bounce up. Think about it, and it can stay up here. Then we could potentially make a new high. That is a Wyckoff distribution. All right. It's just a standard chart pattern that you see a lot of times. This guy named Wyckoff figured out a long time ago. All right. Don't overthink it. It's really only for people who do a lot of swing trading and stuff. And since most people on here don't do that, you're just here to learn TA and see the charts. Not necessary to learn. It does work though. Okay. So one step at a time here. Market closes after tomorrow. How about the regular Ethereum chart? And here you go. Looky there. Regular Ethereum has already failed the 50-day moving average. See the difference? So this tells me we may end up getting weekend moves. And weekend moves are bad typically because we have to retrace, and that sucks. Like I said, we had a CME gap on Bitcoin. You saw it, right? That CME gap hasn't even closed yet, and it likely means more down. Since we're under this 50-day moving average right here on Ethereum, you can clearly see that. Well, this means scale out or sell. Now, I'm not going to do that because I'm using weekly charts right now. But for daily, if you're trying to find a better spot, you're about to probably get it. It looks like this thing's going to roll over and come down to this 100 moving average. I don't know that that's a guarantee, but it looks like that's going to happen. We can draw a trend line here. Buckle that down like that. See what I mean? It's likely that we just give it a little taparoo and roll back down here. And then we'll see from there. We can reassess and figure out what's going on after that. Bitcoin halving, we can kind of label that here too. There you go. Something like that. It kind of makes sense. Now, it's been my thought that a lot of this stuff would just hang out at a higher level and hold on and not want to fail. No guarantees, all right? One step at a time. We'll see. I'm pressed on it. I really am. I don't want to make a decision, and because I don't want to make a decision, that means I'm going to do nothing. I'm just going to sit on my hands and wait and watch. I've already got some really good spots, and I hate to go giving them up on some concern that isn't necessary. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that. I think that's overblown. I don't want to go doing wild things, taking wild chances and dumb decisions. It's just not necessary, in my opinion. It really isn't. So I'm going to watch carefully, but I'm not going to freak out. Wildo, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Justin Wynn, what's up, my friend? Good to see you. Mate, let me get something to drink. Ooh, Made Figures, good to see you. Mullet says, what's up? Good to see you traveling and listening. All right, Mullet, good to see you. So before we talk about XRP, let's look at the dollar. Here's the dollar index. Now, you had some movement back up with crypto, didn't you? It felt pretty good, didn't it? That moved up, but hey, look, that was only the dollar pulling back a little bit. After the dollar pulled back a little bit, now it kind of has snuck back up under the trend line. I really thought this thing was going to tail off and fail, but it showed great strength. Really, really did. And tested the trend line, kind of broke over it. You could argue that it back tested it or it failed it, one of the two. Now it's sitting over top of all these moving averages, just thinking about it. So the question now is, does the dollar all of a sudden get bullish again? and make a new high. This is what I said I was looking for Bitcoin to do and Ethereum to do a minute ago. You remember that? I said it needs to get over this level and hold it. And what is it doing? It's trying to hold on now. And if it can, you'll see it make new highs and test up this level. And then potentially this level. The same thing on a larger scale. One step at a time, all right? This was just hopeful. It didn't work out. This tells me, and we weren't quite ready for that just yet, all right? So, dragging it out a little bit more. And that's okay. It's not the end of the world. I've already expected late May to be our jump-off point, and I still expect late May to be our jump-off point. Good to see you, Chris George. What's up, Sven? Hey, everyone, if you would, I'm going to share the link for you here. Copy. And we'll get over here and we'll click the paste button. Paste. Share this link around to everybody you know. Put it on social media. Send it out. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing. JP says she coin. Now I got to go get a bottle. I'll get one in a minute. I wasn't going to drink tonight because I got stuff to do tomorrow. I got to go to the courthouse and stuff, and I didn't want to get drunk before doing that. So, I need the dollar index to roll back and retrace. I will say that pre-halving has done this before. All right. Back here in, where's it at? Let's see, March, April, May, June. Wasn't it June when the halving was last time? Something like that. Look at the dollar peak up right before halving and then roll back after that. All right. I expect similar this time. And before you say, oh, that was just because the government did stuff and blah, 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 blah. I don't want to hear it. It did the same thing back here. Peaked up and then rolled back really, really far. We can expect this to happen again. Why? Well, you can expect the government to start printing money again at some point. You can expect I'm going to control inflation measures to slowly taper off again at some point. They're going to cut interest rates again at some point. It's only a matter of time, okay? One step at a time, but they will get there and they will do it. Kind of a moot point to argue it, really, in my opinion. So I'm watching the dollar. I'd like to see the dollar come down. Nothing we can do. All right. While I'm on the subject, Bitcoin dominance. Here's Bitcoin dominance. What is Bitcoin dominance, everyone? Bitcoin dominance is a measure of percentage of gain over everything else in the market. So how much money is in Bitcoin versus everything else? 54% of all the money in crypto is in Bitcoin only. That means that everything else has to split up that remaining 46 and 45.5%. That includes stable coins like USDT and USDC. That includes every scam coin, includes Ethereum and everything. All right. Not fair, is it? Well, no one really cares what's fair and what's not. It is just the way it is. The good news here is Bitcoin is challenging this level again that it's challenged multiple times. That dominance shot up really far yesterday, and I was hoping that would happen. So it's not really cracked this 55% level yet, but if I put it in linear mode here, you'll see that 56% is the 50 fib, and in log mode, 57% is the 618. Previous cycles, it has hit the 618 level before. All right. I'm hopeful that it at least gets there. You kind of see that in log mode, it's hanging out over the 50 fib. Kind of doesn't want to fail it just yet, does it? So this actually may end up scaling up higher, and we'll see what happens, right? I don't know the future. I'm just trying to doodle and count it out as close as I can here. So one step at a time. If this plays out and it reverses upward and does a 1618, it's going to get close to 56% dominance, which will get us close to the, look at there, 50 fib, the 0.5 fib on linear mode. That's really close for dominance. And that should mark the point where Bitcoin starts losing its grip over the market. Now, it looks like that's going to add up and line up with halving or post-halving. We'll see. All right. That would mean that altcoins gobble up some of that market cap. All right. It doesn't mean that they'll be in charge. It just means they'll gobble up some of that market cap. I still think that Bitcoin's going to be seen as the shining star. And I don't think we'll get other ETFs until later on, potentially 2025. It just makes sense, right? Maybe even the end of the bull market when we get Ethereum ETF. Don't really know. And at some point, I expect XRP to be added to the CME exchange, or Litecoin, since they're so old, to be added to the CME exchange to be traded on futures, right? It's only a matter of time. We can't deny that forever. And seeing as how they won that SEC case and they're fighting a secondary SEC case, that segues into some more stuff and some more interesting things. And that also brings up a really cool point. I got a brand new thing I've been working on. It's called Project 2023. Check this out real quick. Now, Project 2033 is a 10-year commitment to some of the best cryptocurrency education across the entire internet, all in one spot for you, to make it easy to get to look through, figure out what it is that you want to learn about, whether that be technical analysis from me, whether it's how Bitcoin works, basics of cryptocurrencies, there's a glossary of terms. Perhaps you want to know how to use Coinbase. You want to know how to use Robinhood, all in one spot. All you need to do is check it out. If you look below in the description of this video, you'll see it just down below. Click on the link. That'll send you over. Put in your information. Before you know it, you'll be on your way. Project 2033. Check it out. All right, y'all, check Greg out. Really cool guy. I've talked to him multiple times. I've gone to eat lunch with him multiple times. I like down-to-earth people. That's why I do what I do with Project 2033. I'll be talking more about it in the Discord too. We'll have Greg over for an AMA as well. You guys can ask all the questions you want over there. We're going to do everything in Discord moving forward here. Now, let's get to XRP. And we'll talk about total market cap and some stuff after that. Now, you could say that, news of the day was XRP with their stablecoin news, right? I think you guys know how I feel about this. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. I don't care. Let me pull up the old school XRP chart. We've talked about this a good bit. Oh, that's Binance. Oh, look, I drew a fractal on this one. Ha! Look at that. I drew a fractal on this Binance chart, and so far it's kind of playing out like I thought it would. Now, I don't expect this thing to go to, what did I mark this out to? $23? I don't expect that thing to go to $23. But it is doing fairly well so far. Let me find a better XRP chart. And we'll go to the old school crypto one. So yeah, here we go. All right, XRP on the daily chart. So far, we continue to fail the trend line. And no matter how I draw this, whether I put this up here and line at the top wicks, or I pull this down to the lower wicks, here, here, and here, doesn't really matter. We're still under the trend. And the good news is we're sitting on support. So you're under the trend, but you're over support. What does that equal? And by over support, I mean right through here, there's a ton of support and ton of candles for the price to get caught on in the event that it tries to go down, which means it won't just blow through this level likely it holds up at this level and doesn't want to just surrender and fail. Because of that, that gives us more upside than downside, and that makes it a good risk versus reward. Now, this thing has been extremely technical thus far. So far, she's lined out nearly to the week of what we thought it would do. I've kind of drawn out some price action. This may not be exactly perfect, but I've kind of drawn out how I think it'll play out. And so far over the past week, it's followed suit. We're getting quick little up moves, but the up move that we had today, and all of you are going to try to blame it on them saying that a stablecoin was coming out. That's why everything went up, not just XRP. Everything went up. All right, so you saw Bitcoin dominance go up, and it brought everything up. Right? We put up some moving averages here. You'll see we're over the 100, but we're under the 50 and under the 8 and under the 21. Not great, not awful. The 200 moving average is kind of our bear bull filter. And look, we're over the 100, we're over the 200. They're all in a ball right here. And so far, it doesn't just want to relinquish that and give it up too easy. So what does this tell me? Well, it tells me that currently it's still in an accumulation phase. It still hasn't quite broken out of its funk. It will eventually break out of its funk. And that's why I've taken the time recently to accumulate some of it. I'll go over that in a minute. Now, I got this buy zone drawn here. Why? Well, that's historic, and I'll show you what I mean. Let me go all the way back to 2016. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Sorry, I don't care. You're on here watching because you want to know, right? And also, a lot of you have learned and this makes me super happy. A lot of you learned I'm not going to bullcrap you. I'm going to shoot straight with you. And if you don't like that, it's going to hurt your feelings sometimes. And you may not like it, but the truth is it'll help you in the long run because I'm one of the few people who aren't going to cut corners and aren't going to lie to you. I'm just going to come straight at you, love it or hate it, right? At first, when you're younger at this and you're newer at this, it sucks to hear you don't like it. But as you've been doing this longer and you get a little bit more seasoned at it, then you start to learn not very many people are shooting straight with me. Welcome to the Shoot Straight Club over here. We don't have any time for BS. So here is 2016. Yeah, sure. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button while you're here, right? So here's 2016 post-halving. After halving, when we were under the trend line, like I just described a minute ago, we accumulated for quite a while, and then we finally shot up near this quote-unquote bottom line, all right? And this just essentially about 2 months after halving, all right? That's all that is, about 2 months after halving. From there, we broke the trend line. We sat on top of the trend line, and we eventually moved up. We haven't gotten there yet, so let's not worry about that, okay? We'll go over to 2020. You think, oh, 2020 must be different, right? Because pandemic and the world shut down. But oh, look, the same thing happened again. Happened a little faster up front here, right? When we had the pandemic, it happened really quickly. But after halving, it took about 2 months, and then the chart started to move up. Almost to the day, okay? We'll get to the rest once we get there. We're not there yet. All right, and now here we are again. Same story, same play. We are under resistance, under the trend line, accumulating, going sideways. We're approaching halving. After halving, about 2 months, give or take a couple days. I don't want to try to be hyper extremely perfect here, but just get close. Roughly end of May to June, and that's why I've got this box written as buy zone going from middle of May to end of June, because I want to try to give it some buffer room there, okay? That's our buy zone. That's our last chance to get in at a quote-unquote low price, right? I do think it's going to jump the trend line here at some point. I can't be perfect with this. I'm just trying to get close, okay? The good news is we know where it's going to go after it jumps. It's likely to hit the same resistance box around 75 to 80 cents again. If it can jump over that box, which I'm hopeful that this move that I've got at the secondary side here, I'm hopeful that this move happens over here. Okay, I want that to happen over there because that sets a higher floor, right? I'm guessing that it won't. I'm trying to be pessimistic and not get my hopes up here, okay? That's what I'm going to do versus what most people are going to do is tell you the hopium stuff. I don't do that, okay? So I'm thinking that it just bonks its head on resistance here, thinks about it, and then finally breaks. And once it finally breaks, I expect it to get toward that dollar level, potentially take a breather here. I don't know where yet. We'll see when we get there. We'll eventually take a breather, and if it can sit back on support, man, that opens up that bigger move to go a little bit higher and a little bit higher. And I do think 150 to 160 is our next level of thinking about it. The reason is that's the 786 level on the last high to the last low. Now, all-time high to there, it's more like $2 and some change. So I want to give it a buffer room, but 150 to 165 makes sense, all right? That level bonking its head and stopping and breathing about halfway through the bull market would be magnifique because that sets, again, a higher floor. That higher floor opens up a higher high possibility. So, all that being said, I went ahead and bought some more XRP in the last 2 days. These were profits that I got from other stuff. Now, I told you guys I would do this. Told you I had 1,800 in it to start with because I didn't have faith that things were going to go the way that I wanted them to. And sure enough, they didn't go up. It didn't go flying up, and I didn't get super rich. It didn't happen that way, okay? It almost never does. Almost never does. But we're fighting this 382 fib so far, bonking its head on 60 cent resistance as it's been for a long time now. There's that 75 cent level that I talked about. Okay, I'm going to move this red box. It's a bit easier to see. There's that 75 cent level at the 50 fib. At the 618, that 95 cent to dollar level makes sense. You've seen it go back here before. Okay, I expect it to retest that level. And again, here's our sniper's alley. 130 to 160, 150 roughly, right? That's kind of where I'm hoping we end up by the end of 2024. If we can get up there by the end of 2024, well, that opens up the possibility that we attack these extensions. I don't want to do that until we get there, okay? One step at a time. We're talking about way down the road. We got to get through halving and the end of May first. That's when our floor and our bottom shelf price is there for XRP, and you're probably not going to get it any lower than that, all right? Again, I bought more of it because this is the accumulation phase. I'm trying to accumulate what I can now from profits from other things and put it into XRP. If I think the price now is 62 and it's going to go to $1.50, well, that's about 200% gains, and I'm here for that. So my profits will be turned into profits. I'm using XRP as a hedge. Okay, so take what you want from this. Don't get mad at me. I'm not trying to make any enemies. I'm just shooting straight with you, as I always do. I don't have time for BS. I'm going to keep it real with you, even if you don't like it, even if it makes you not want to watch, even if you see me share this around to my social media guy over on Twitter and you don't like it. I know, I understand you didn't like it. It's cool. Okay, I don't hate anybody for it. I just want you to make as much money as you can in a realistic way. Turn off the moon boys, turn on the reality. Sound good? Sweet. That was long. I recorded that segment just so I could post that later to show everyone, right? Because people like the clips. People like the little clips cutting up and stuff like that. It makes people happy. So I try to record the clips. Yeah, Greg talked real good. Well, sweet. Greg's a good guy, right? So I'm going to have him on for an AMA. And we don't do very many AMAs and stuff like that in our Discord. I'm going to have him on for an AMA pretty soon, all right? I also got to get in touch with the Palau ID guy again. I haven't talked to him recently. I've just been super busy with other stuff. Got a lot going on, dude. A lot of stuff going on in the background, too. It's a busy life, man. And it's spring break, so the kids have been home and she's been home. So, trying to make time for everybody, dude. It's tough. XRP dominance. We haven't talked about that in a while. Let's pull that up. We talked about XRP and how far the chart would go. Well, and we talked about Bitcoin dominance, right? And what Bitcoin dominance is and how that works, everything else. Well, here's XRP. It is exactly 1.3% of the entire market. Now, listen to me here. You don't have to like it, but if you really think that a crypto that owns 1.3% of the entire market is now suddenly going to get all the money, what planet would that be reality? It wouldn't be a reality here, okay? I'm shooting straight with you. That's not how it works, okay? In fact, Ripple's new stablecoin does the exact same thing that XRP does. Well, why do you need the stablecoin if it does the same thing as XRP? Why do you need XRP if the stablecoin does the same thing? Well, they're counteracting each other. Why did you do this? What's the point, right? Oh, well, it's to move money. Well, that's the first one, to move money. Well, when are we going to start moving money? When's the money get moved? When? It's been 8 years. It's been 84 years. It hadn't been that long. It's been a while. All right. I've been in crypto since 2018, and I've yet to be impressed. Okay. The only thing I'm impressed with is the accuracy of the chart. So I've got XRP dominance pulled up here so you can see what happened in the past, which is pretty darn cool. Okay. It's not exactly as good as the regular XRP chart, but it's close. So here's our peak in 2014, way back in the day. All right, we had a big run down. You can see it kind of break through support, fall down farther until Bitcoin halving came. We had a sideways period between halving and the quote-unquote bottom. This is roughly about 133 days, which is just over 3 months, not quite 4 months. All right, so a quarter, 1/4 of a year was spent kind of going up and sideways post-halving. And this is dominance. This is not XRP's price. This is just the dominance. How much money is in XRP versus everything else, right? After that period, it kind of rolled back over a little bit and lost its grip, fell more before it got to this purple line, which was about 259 days, or a long ass time, 259 days after halving before it really got its grip and took off, okay? Then it sprinted up for a bit, peaked out at the end of the bull market. The peak is what I mean by end of the bull market. That's the blue line, the end of the bull market. All right. Then we had that same bear market that we've had for the rest of the time. You can see it kind of try to bounce support just like it did here. It kind of tried to do the same thing back here, but it eventually failed. All right, it eventually rolled over until halving. Then halving happened again back in 2020. Again, you had roughly the same amount of time again, roughly a quarter of the year spent going up and sideways when it had a period of, I'll think about it. All right. Then we had our march up here. Very cool. But that was abruptly ripped out of your hands. This one was a little bit worse, and you could blame this on the SEC if you wanted to try to. But what did I see? I see it hit resistance almost perfectly and then flip the switch, folks. It went the wrong way on you, didn't it? That's right, it did. So from there, again, we rolled back over until the peak of the bull market. And since then, it actually held up better this time in the bear market than it did last time. This was hopeful for me, right? I kind of like the fact that it held on as long as it did, because it's not done that before. It waited until all the way till after the SEC lawsuit victory before it started to roll over and lose dominance. Okay, cool. Now that that's happened and it's fallen under resistance just like it has the last couple times, we're approaching halving. I think this is where we get our sideways move. We're going to bounce around this halving and kind of come up here above the resistance line. I'm hopeful that happens. All within this roughly quarter of a year. See that? 147 days. It's pretty much the dang same thing over and over again. So I say the charts tell you the truth here. I'm hopeful that we hold this red line. If we hold this red line and we can keep marching sideways, I'm hopeful we can get back to at least 4 to 5% dominance. We'll see from there. I don't know if we get one of these big aggressive runs up like we did last time. With all the new coins that are in the market and all the money that's spread out, it's way more thin now. It's way harder to get market cap than it used to be, right? So I think if we get to this level, we'll see things differ. And I can show you the XRP money chart, which is actually pretty cool too. So note that I said roughly 4% at the end of the bull market. Wouldn't that be cool? Roughly 4 to 6%. Let's go see how much money that would be. If I pull up the regular old XRP market cap chart, this is the dollars that are in XRP, not the price of XRP. Okay. Right now we're at 1%, 1.3. If we were to 4x that, 4 times that, right, that would get us close to 6%. From here, if we did 4x that, that's 1, 2, 3. That's 4x up here at $166 billion, or roughly between the 1272 and the 1414 fib from the peak of 21 to the bottom. If I look at the XRP chart and I do the same thing, that 1272 and 1414 would be between $3 and $4 or $3.25, roughly the previous all-time high. You see that? So that would be this thing challenging the previous all-time high. Let me get a drink right here. Or that would be sweeping the high, okay? Or testing the previous high. That's at 6% dominance all over the whole market, 6% of the whole market. And that means the rest of the market would have came up too. You get that? That means everything would have moved up if XRP only got 6% of the market cap, $3.50. Make sense? This is how you can use the math of the charts to be a little bit predictive on what we think things are going to do. This is what you're not going to see most people talk about because they're too busy watching Twitter and worrying about what social media says rather than hitting the charts and reading the data. This is what really, really, really frustrates me about our space and part of the reason I'm leaving social media, all right? Talked about this before, but I've learned that about 5% of social media wants to do good. The other 95% want their validation. They want credit for things, whether that was their credit or not. They want credit for it. And they want their 15 minutes of fame. At least they think they do. They think they want their 15 minutes of fame. I remember when I started this and I said, man, I'd never want to be one of those dudes. And for what it's worth, I never thought I'd be here doing this. I never wanted to be one of those dudes. Why? Because I see what you guys are doing. You guys are running a grift. You guys are running a total grift. You're getting money from people, and then you're taking that money, and then you're buying the coin that you're talking about, hoping that it goes up because you didn't know how to read the chart, and you've been losing money the entire time. I've talked with multiple influencers who have made $0 in crypto, but have been in crypto for years. How can that be? How can that be, folks? Furthermore, how, in my position, can I allow that to happen? So I take it as a burden on me. Why haven't you helped more people make more money? I'm trying my best, okay? I've learned that I have to weed out people, and I learned that I have to take people out to the side and say, I'm not going to deal with you. And I've learned that a couple dollars a month keeps the kids away, which is the best thing, all right? A couple dollars a month keeps the kids away, and you don't have to deal with it. And then it's just grown folks who all want to make money together, all right? That's why we do things a little different. That's why we'll never be raising prices again on our Discord. And that's why our Discord closes after halving. And if you haven't done so, you better get in because it closes at halving. Okay, April 20th, there is no 420. There is no more Discord free passes and no more Discord access unless you're already in there. WAP.com/team786. You better get in while you can because I'm shutting the door. And who's in here? It'll be a family for us for the next year and a half. And that's it. At the end of the bull market, we'll open everything back up, perhaps. And I will have a wait list. I will have a wait list for people if they leave. There will be a spot open up. We'll see how that works. If that doesn't work out good, we'll get rid of that too. We're going to start doing way more stuff in the Discord and not on YouTube. We're going to scale it back to one live stream and be on YouTube a week. Everything else will be in Discord. I'm going to have something almost every single day in Discord, whether it be an event or an AMA or just a chat or just a quick live stream, our morning wound up, our Tuesday stream for the European people. That's going to be what our Discord is from now on. All right. And we're going to do that for the next year and a half, unless I'm on vacation or unless I'm hanging out with you guys. Okay. We already do Zooms after the stream on Thursday, which are way more fun than the stream for me because you guys get to talk back. We're going to do way more of that. Okay. We're going to start doing it at different times of the day. Let you guys come and hang out and chill and just talk and chat. Right. I don't know a whole lot of other influencers that do that, and I want to be a part of something different. I don't want to do what everybody else does. We already do something different here. You know what I mean? We already do it a little different here. I want to keep doing it different, and I want to maintain what we've got without getting too big and turning into a big, crazy mess over here. Hey, what's up, Peter Navarro? Good to see you. Is it true there's no chart on a token without people? 100% not true, Peter Navarro. You've been lied to. That doesn't matter at all. 90% of everything you see is bots, not people. People make up a small fraction. If it's a meme coin with very low market cap, yes, at first, people affect it. It doesn't take long before the bots catch on. Minutes, in fact, before the bots catch on, and they run that thing like crazy, all right? That's what they're engineered to do. In fact, I have a guy in my DMs right now trying to sell me one of those bots. I could show you the DMs, but I think that's the dick thing to do, so I'm not going to do that, all right? So let me read what he said. Is it true, though, there's no chart on a token without people pumping it or making it relevant? And I would say 100% no, that's not true. It starts off that way, again, but it doesn't take long before the system catches up and takes off. One can worry about the few or one can worry about the majority. I choose to not worry about the few. I choose to worry about the majority. And I don't mean that as far as people I talk to. I mean that as far as the charts. The rest of it's hearsay and argument to me, and we don't have any proof of it, so I don't want to hear about it. I don't spend my time worrying about it, so to speak. How can we make our bots? You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. That's degenerate and that's lazy. And another thing I've learned. What's the right way to say this? For those of you whom don't work for your money, or who want it done for you, you're the first ones who lose your money when you actually get it. And that's hard to explain, but if you didn't have to work to get it, it's way careless of you, and now you don't care as much. And since you don't care as much, you don't try as hard, and you're way more likely to lose it. This is also a lesson we learned last time. Those of us who had to earn our money and had to dig deep to get it, we were able to hold on to that money a little bit better. All right. And those who were a little bit sloppy with the money, lost a lot of their money. Right? I don't want to see that happen to you guys. This is why I say I'm not going to give it to you, but I will help you along the way. Okay. It's important to do that. It's important to understand that. Okay. I want to see a lot more people do better this time. We talked about this before, but we made 7 millionaires last time. And I didn't say me or I said we. If you're listening to this and you're mad at me because I don't give you credit for things, I'm going to tell you to stop asking for credit, because you're not as special as you think you are, and I'm not as special as I think I am. But together, we do much more. Okay? So, we made 7 millionaires last time. This time, I would like to make 70 millionaires. That's a lofty goal. At the same time, I didn't think we'd make 7 millionaires last time. I want to be one of them this time. I've got big plans. Me and her were talking about that over dinner today, right? We were talking about the plans. I told you guys I want to get a house built on the farm. I want to get my shop built so I can work on my cars. I want to have my kids' school, quote unquote, taken care of, whether I don't pay for it or not. I want it taken care of so they can go to school and not have to worry. I want to be able to live off of passive income, not in crypto, because I don't think crypto passive income will last. I'd like to be able to get bonds and trust funds and CRTs set up to just pay me to do a little bit of nothing. I'd like to take some of that money and spend it on real world things like storage units or rental properties so that I can continue to earn passive income in the real world outside of the crypto world. Right now, you guys know I'm 95% all in on crypto, right? So I'd like to scale that back some and de-risk, because that's the smart thing to do. Cannon Pro said, can I get crypto for sucking? I hear you, bro. So if you do want to start regular old trading bots, Peter Navarro, there's tons of them. We have multiple of them in our Discord, from Mizar to 3 Commas to other things. There are also tons of write-ups and tons of videos on YouTube about setting up some basic bots that buy sell. Also, exchanges have bots now that they want you to use. They want you to set up grid bots and different styles so they can trade for you. They're begging you to come do it, right? They'll even give you money to do it with. What we've learned is catch the trend and ride it. All right, let's look at a couple different charts. Here's Vara. This one's only on Coinbase. All right, so it's a little bit of a wonky chart, and it's very, very volatile, which is odd because it's on Coinbase. You wouldn't think that would be the case, but I've seen other charts like this really take off and go. This is part of the reason I got into it. It was a smaller chart with not much there, and because of that, I thought, hey man, I'll go ahead and get some of this. So went ahead and bought it down there at the 4 green lines that you see. Small buys each time, buying a little here and buying a little here. Eventually, I got as much in there as I could, and it shot up. And when it shot up, I did not catch this wick up here. I don't think anybody did for that matter. But I did catch some of it, and I got it down here and sold $1,100 of it worth, which was basically my initial investment. Not fully my initial investment, but basically my initial investment. That $1,100 was then used to buy AVAX. I bought coins with my profits, which will then flourish into more profits, right? More so, this is stuck under the 50 fib like it's been stuck before, so I don't think it's ready to go just yet. But when it does go, there's no resistance to stop it. It doesn't have to go much farther here to get over the hump and get past this, what's roughly 12 to 13 cent level. Once it passes that, gets up here to 786 and makes a close, I'm not sure she'll stop for long. This thing looks like it's got the legs to get up here more toward $1. And folks, that's a 10x from here. So these are the kind I've been looking for. These are the kind I want to stick some profits in and leave them alone. These are the kind I've de-risked out of and got my initial money out of so that I'm a bit free rolling. I'm kind of hedging my bet so that I've bet on it, right? I've put some money in it, but I've also got my profits out. So now it's more of a free roll. This is something that we talked about when we were in Vegas. Me and Frank were sitting playing craps in Vegas talking about this, and we started with very small amounts of money, $25. All right, we started with $25. That turned into $250. That $250, I looked at Frank and I'm like, dude, we have $250. And he's like, yeah, this is the most money I've ever made playing craps. I was like, well, if we're measuring the trend here, our trend's up and we're killing it. Do we keep going? He's like, well, the last day here, let's let it roll. We did a little bit more. We ended up getting to $1,100. I looked at Frank and I said, dude, if this hits one more time, I'm stopping. We hit one more time. Bam. I said, cool. I took half of the money that was in front of me and put it in my pocket. Just put it straight in my pocket. I said, I'm not looking at it no more. I even told the dealer, I said, give me some of these chips so I can cash them out. The very next roll craps, and everybody at the table lost. Perfect. So I took my $1,150 and I put it all in my pocket, and I went straight to the cashier and I cashed it out, right? And that's the most money I've ever made in Vegas. There you go. So it was fun. It was cool. That's never happened to me before. But when the trend is up, you ride the trend. You de-risk and the de-hedge. I took money, like I said, and I went ahead and put it in my pocket right there on the spot. And I said, that's it. I could sit here and play and keep gambling, but I've killed it, and I don't think that's a smart thing to do. I think it's time to stop and walk away. You don't have to fully sell all of these, or you don't have to fully sell any of these. That's another strategy I failed with last time. Instead of selling everything, I think it may be smarter to sell portions, right? Maybe sell half, maybe sell 15%, maybe sell 20% or 90%, but don't sell it all. Leave a little in there. That way, in case it keeps going, you still keep winning. All right. I don't know what Gari network is, why crypto, but let's look it up since no one else has asked for anything and we have a couple minutes left. I gotta hang now. All right. Gari, is that it? Yep. All right. So here's the chart he just asked for, which is Gari network. Never seen it before. Nice fresh chart. Let's look and see if we got any other data here. A lot of times MEXC will have the whole thing. It's basically the same. All right. So what I noticed first, and I'm not sure if I believe this wick, but let's start with the basic trend line. It looks like we've broken trend, or maybe our back testing trend. We're going to see in the next couple days. I do like the formation, but looks to be forming an inverse head and shoulders here. Do you see that? Right there's our neckline. That's an inverse head and shoulders at the bottom, folks. This isn't going to take long before it breaks. Now, I'm not saying it's going to outperform anything, but the structure is there. This inverse head and shoulder will come up and test this neckline, likely get over, and likely move north as such. What I don't like is this massive red right here. This is very ugly looking. It kind of looks like a bit of a rug pull, which may not recover. All right, so I don't know anything about this one, but I like to chart them because I may be wrong. So let's scale this back a little bit. And look at here. On the weekly chart, you're over the 50 weekly. This is good, and so long as it stays over this 50 weekly, the yellow line, we're good to go here, and nothing too much to worry about, right? One step at a time. Right? This is a long way down the road. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. But if it does crack north, I would hope it gets to the 100 moving average first. It'll probably stop when it gets there. Last one, Tau as requested. A lot of people like to shield this one like it's going to change the world. I don't do that. I just do charts. So Tau's one I missed on. All right, currently, so weekly, we caught the 21 EMA here. I like that. It's bounced so far. Very cool. If we go down to daily, we're under the 50 daily moving average. I don't like that. Hell, my fault. Let me scroll down here. We're under the yellow line right here, which is the 50 daily. I would expect a lot of things get stuck under here, but short term, we did kind of break a trend line there. I need to see this thing close above $700. If it doesn't close above 700, much ado about nothing, and she's likely to roll over to the 200 moving average. Got that? That's just the way I see it. Now, is that bad? Probably not. Probably that just comes back to support, which is right about here. Okay? Just comes back to support, gives her a bounce, and then off we go when we start back up. Okay? I think for the most part, Bitcoin, once it finally gets after halving, finally gets the ball rolling over here, little by little, the tide will rise all ships. So thank you all for coming here and hanging out. I think we had 65 people on total. Our numbers are going to continue to go down, seeing as I'm not going to use social media anymore. And again, we only do these live streams for new people to watch. It's also dependent on you guys. You guys share it around. You guys hit like and tell me what you think after this in the comments if you watch back. All right. Thank you all for watching. I'll leave you with this. 3 things. Could have been anywhere in the world. You chose to be here with me. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Make the best of your todays, the worst of your tomorrows. And if anybody else told you, Keith will tell you. Keith loves you. Need anything, holler at me. Sky's the limit. Y'all be good. I'll see you on the next live stream. Peace.